Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Just Saying podcast. I'm Jairus, and as always, I'm joined by Shay, and he's going to break down the episode for you right now because we have a lot to talk about.
Holy shit, hasn't been a week in sports.
God damn.
God damn. Yeah, we're going to lead off with sports news here, and this time I think it's just around the country.
Not around the world.
Yeah, sorry, everybody.
Sorry, Daft Punk. Let me turn off my notification sound.
Because, Wow. Professional podcasters here.
Oh, yeah.
So sports news around the country. Then NASCAR racing weekend. And let me just tell you, there are no brackets remaining after one race. Shocker. NHL offseason and free agency, and NBA offseason and free agency, because, I mean, a lot of shit's happened.
Yeah, just a quick disclaimer. We know the drafts have been, done for about a week. We're just not going to have time to get to them this episode. It would be way too long.
But check out our draft videos that are out there.
That's right. Good tie-in. Yeah, we see after my notification sounds, we got it right back.
Yeah.
Professionalism there. So yeah, go check out our YouTube videos. They'll be linked in the description as always. And if you're watching on YouTube, obviously they're right there on our channel.
What?
But yeah, next episode we'll be recapping the drafts, looking at our mocks and seeing how we did, and reacting to any trades or any surprises that happen. So look forward to that. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. First, with sports news. Starting off with the NHL. The NHL CBA is currently being ratified, but it's all set. Here are the rule changes we know. 84-game schedule beginning in the 2026-2027 season. There's also a 1-year reduction on max term contracts in free agency, 7 years if you're staying with your team, or 6 years on the open market. And I think the one that everybody's been asking for, an LTIR loophole fix in the form of a playoff salary cap.
Yeah, I think that's a very good idea.
Yeah, the 84-game schedule, it will be perfectly balanced. So now you will play each team in your division 4 times, each team within your conference 3 times, and each team across your conference twice.
Yeah, makes sense.
For the max term contracts,
perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
That's right. Okay, Thanos. Yeah, for the max term contracts, this gives players a little bit more freedom, so they don't have to stay with the team for so long if they choose to, and they can go test the market a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good change. And the LTIR loophole, even though my Lightning have done it in 2021, Vegas did it obviously in 2023, and Florida did it this year. The reality is every team has done it in one form or another.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good move. It will encourage teams to strategize a little bit more during the trade deadline, be more careful about who they pick up, because now there's going to be a salary cap in the playoffs. So, costs and all that. They will be allowed to obviously change their rosters in between games during the playoffs to get under the cap if they are over. But yeah, I think all these changes are good. There was no difficulty in discussions between the NHL and the NHLPA on the CBA. So until 2030, there is no concern of a lockout, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. Especially in the way the NHL has been going, which it's been growing. So that's definitely good.
Exactly.
Moving on now, staying in the NHL, the Predators are sold to Bill Haslam, and it was approved by the owners. So congrats to Bill. Good job, Bill. Stars, though, hire
Galudzan, I think.
Galudzan.
Yeah, the Dallas Stars.
Gluteus Maximus as new head coach. So congrats to him and the Stars. He previously coached for Dallas back in 2011 and 2013.
Yeah, with the Stars' third straight exit in the Western Conference Final, they fired Pete DeBoer, and they're looking to get over that hump and win the cup.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, moving on. The NFL suspends former Ravens kicker Justin Tucker 10 games for violating the personal conduct policy. Maybe you got a little bit too touchy in various massage parlors. Justin Tugger, Justin Toucher,
Whoa.
as they now call him. I don't know all the details, like if he was found guilty or not guilty, but the NFL did their investigation and they found enough evidence, obviously, to give him a 10-game suspension. So there has to be some serious smoke.
Yeah, and this is a real shame because for the greatest kicker this game has ever seen in Justin Tucker, his legacy is now tarnished. So
yeah,
really sucks.
What a fall from grace that guy has had.
Yeah. Moving on, though, the feds. Oh, shit. The federal government is investigating Pistons guard Malik Beasley for, we talked about it last year with a couple players, gambling allegations. Evidence traces the last season when Malik was with the Bucks, where there was a lot of unusually heavy betting on stats by a prominent sportsbook from Mike Florio of NBC Sports. As we talked about some of these guys last year that got caught betting or were suspected of it, especially on their own sport. How fucking stupid are you? It pisses me off so much. You're destroying the integrity of sports, the integrity of your game by doing this. You want to bet? Do it on other sports, not your sport. Oh, I hate it so much.
I do agree with you, but at the same time, all the sports leagues, there's gambling advertisements everywhere you look.
Correct.
All the like intermission panels and are about like odds and who's going to score next,
yes,
and just countless stats on what you could bet for pretty much anything and everything that you could think of. So for these players, I agree with you. It's obviously non-integral and, you know, on their own sport, but I do think the leagues have to take a little bit of the blame because of the agenda that they're pushing gambling so heavily. And obviously it's for money because they get a share of the revenue.
Yeah. Oh, the onus is definitely on the teams as well. I'm not saying that. But if you're a player also making millions of dollars, you should be smart enough to not bet on your own league, your own sport. Bet on another sport.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see, you know, any other players that fall into the trap. But I do think with the whole gambling scene in sports, it definitely leaves a little bit of concern.
Yeah, agreed.
Moving on. This was very important, and I didn't put it in the NBA offseason slide because arguably the greatest of all time, LeBron James, exercises his player option of $53.2 million. God damn. To return for his 23rd season as a member of the Los Angeles Lakers, which is an NBA record.
Yeah, I think everyone saw this coming. But is this his last year? We will see. I would say it's probably a pretty good chance it is.
Yeah, and I would agree with you. But the stats he had last year too, like he's not falling off.
Nope, he can still keep going if he wants to.
Yeah, I think if he wanted to, he could play into his mid to late 40s at this point.
Yeah.
He is a workhorse out there. Got to hand it to his conditioning.
Oh my God,
well.
yeah.
It's probably pristine to be able to play at that level for that long.
Oh my God, yeah.
So yeah, we'll see with the Lakers how they do. Obviously, they had an early playoff exit this past season, so maybe they'll have one last run with LeBron James.
Maybe so. Moving on to the other side, the WNBA, the LA Sparks retire Candace Parker's number 3. The Chicago Sky are also going to retire her number on August 25th. I mean, arguably the greatest WNBA player of all time. She was Rookie of the Year, 2-time MVP, 3-time WNBA champion playing for the Sparks, Sky, and the Aces. The all-time leader in almost every major stat category. Until Caitlin Clark's done. But just until then, yeah, she's... I don't think it's an argument. She is the greatest WNBA player of all time.
Yeah, ceremony was fantastic. She really helped grow this league throughout her entire tenure. Just an incredible player, an incredible figure in women's sports. And we're going to move on to other news in women's sports because I think this is just amazing.
Yeah.
I think women's sports, apart from the WNBA and the PWHL, it's just exponentially growing now.
Yeah.
And with people like Caitlin Clark as well taking the mantle. Because the WNBA also this past week announced three, not two, not one, three new expansion teams, beginning with 2028 in Cleveland, 2029 Detroit will come into the picture, and 2030 Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, or now sisterly love.
Yeah.
We'll get their team as well. So this is just amazing news. And I also want to point out, after the expansions to Seattle and Vancouver in the PWHL, there's been a new record of young girls signing up for hockey in Canada.
Oh, really?
Which is just incredible to see.
There are, after these next 3 teams come in, the league will now have 16 teams. I'm sorry. Next year, Toronto and Portland join. And now Cleveland, Detroit, and Philly by the end of the decade. So by 2030, the league will be 18 teams strong. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is incredible. So major congratulations to the WNBA for growing and women's sports in general for growing.
Yeah.
This is just fantastic. I love to hear this.
Yeah, exactly. And just like we mentioned a week or two ago, or I think a couple of weeks ago, the ASLU, the Professional Women's Softball League that's going on. So women's sports are up and to the right now. It's great. Moving to baseball, segue into baseball. Shohei Ohtani. That's right. We're the Ohtani podcast.
Still a Dodgers podcast.
Yeah. He makes now a 3-inning start. So his longest start to date this year. Does pitch his fastest he's ever pitched in his career, throwing a ball 101.7 miles per hour in a 9-5 loss, though, to the Royals. But I think that's pretty much signifying, his arm's fine.
Yeah, not just pitching the fastest he's had since he returned, but in his career. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, I agree.
And like we said before, the Dodgers are doing a good job of bringing him slowly and not panicking, even though their bullpen is just riddled with injuries.
Yeah, I mean, they're still in first place and winning, so they don't have to worry too much.
Yeah, they're taking his time with him. They're bringing him along slowly, and it's not going to be too long before we see Ohtani make a full start.
Yeah, agreed.
Moving on, a very shocking thing that just happened in baseball, which we thought was worth mentioning. The Pittsburgh Pirates, the sinking ship with Paul Skeens at the helm.
Yep.
They surprised us this week by sweeping the New York Mets, who are supposed to be one of the top teams in baseball, but lately they have just been reeling, spiraling out of control. Okay. Outscore them 30-4 in the series. They scored 9 runs plus in each of the 3 games.
That's
pretty shocking.
A pretty big differential.
Now, games like this and series like this, there's always a couple every year that are just a complete shocker. Like, I think a few days ago, we were up 6-0 against the Orioles, the Rays were, and then the Orioles won 22-8.
Yep.
So just one of those things, but
baseball is a funny sport.
Yeah. But I'm like, man, how do you let the Pirates sweep you?
Don't worry. Now they'll get swept for 6 games in a row. The Pirates, just watch.
Exactly. Because that's how the Pirates are.
Except for Paul Skeens, the only bright spot.
Yep.
Moving on, staying in baseball right now. Wilyer Abreu, the right fielder for the Red Sox, he had himself a game yesterday. As of this recording, July 1st, 2025. He is the 6th player in MLB history with an inside the park home run and a grand slam in the same game.
Wow.
And the first player to do it since 1958. So have yourself a day.
That was impressive.
Yeah, have yourself a day, because holy shit. We did win 13-5 that game against the Angels, I believe. But still right around 500, so no improvement.
Perfectly mediocre.
Yep.
Just like the Bruins.
Yep.
All right, moving on to football, the final sport we're going to talk about in sports news. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They extend head coach Todd Bowles and GM Jason Litch to multi-year extensions. I feel kind of like so-and-so about Todd Bowles. I mean, I know we've had 3 straight NFC South championships, but I do think with Bowles, there's a little bit more to be left desired in terms of getting the team, farther into the playoffs. But still a good move. I think it's very warranted. I'll just be very interested to see how this upcoming season goes, especially with, Baker returning after a good season and Evans still there. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I had kind of similar feelings, kind of like mixed feelings about the whole thing. They've won their conference, I think, 3 straight years now, or their series or division. Their division for 3 straight years, made the playoffs, but they haven't done anything since, like, with all that. So
yeah, and most of those years they won the division, it was a very weak division.
Exactly. That's why I have the mixed feelings. Like, they're winning their division at a 10-7 record or 9-8 record. So, okay, I mean, it's still winning, right? It's still making the playoffs. And I'd say Jason Litch, whatever, has done a really good job with bringing players in and signing them and everything.
I agree. He's been a great GM.
So I don't think it's unwarranted for them to extend Todd Bowles in the GM, but it's also kind of, okay, if you were in another division, would this really be happening?
Yeah, exactly.
Final piece here. Big trade just happened the other day in the NFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers traded longtime Steeler and cornerstone on the defensive side safety Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Dolphins for tight end Jonnu Smith, cornerback Jalen Ramsey, $1.5 million raise for him, and a 2027 7th round draft pick. Win-win trade for both teams.
Yeah, I did put that. I think Dolphins needed an upgraded safety. They got it with Minkah Fitzpatrick. He's still playing at a great level. He returns where it all began, where he was originally drafted to Miami. And for the Steelers, they get Jonnu Smith. They get cornerback Jalen Ramsey. They've pretty much revamped their entire cornerback room. And Jalen Ramsey gets a little bit of a raise, which is good. This does leave the Steelers with a little bit of a logjam at tight end, so I'll be very interested to see who they move out or if they send off Jonnu Smith again. But yeah, I think it was a solid deal for both teams. I think both teams fill some needs here.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. That's going to do it for sports news. And now we're going to move on to NASCAR. And boy, was it an action-packed race.
Yeah. As said in the opening, there are no brackets left, if anybody cared about the in-season bracket challenge. Let's just be honest. Atlanta to have the first race be in your bracket challenge, probably not the smartest move. Not because Atlanta sucks. Atlanta's arguably one of the best tracks for racing right now. But because Atlanta is now a super speedway after the reconfiguration last year, it was a great race. Chase Elliott finally
gets the win.
Finally won, holding off Brad Keselowski to break a 44 race drought. He is now the 12th different driver to punch their ticket to the playoffs, people. So
we're still on really good pace to have 16 different drivers with the win.
Or more. There are only 4 spots left.
This is crazy.
It is very crazy. So now that means 3 of the 4 Hendrick Motorsports drivers are completely locked into the playoffs. So that's good for me since I'm a HMS fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So huge congratulations to Chase. It's been a long time coming. And he is one of only 2 drivers now, the other being Tyler Reddick, to not DNF at all this season.
Oh, wow. Nice. Well, there were a lot of cars that DNF in this race.
Yeah.
Because there was a 7-car wreck early in the race, but then the big one happened. 22-car wreck highlighted an action-packed race at Echo Park Speedway. Hamlin, Bell, and Logano among the 12 cars that DNF'd, which I'm pretty sure that's the most this season.
Yeah, it was definitely the big one. Haven't seen a wreck like that in probably a while. The amount of carnage and just basically traffic stop that happened. It was pretty crazy.
I think Talladega looked at Atlanta and said, "You know what? I didn't get my share of car flesh, so I want it."
Yeah, true. So now the next race is the Grant Park 165 at the Chicago Street Course. Hell yeah.
That's right. I'm really excited for that one because ever since they started doing it, a couple of years ago?
Yep, 2 years ago. SVG won the first one, and Alex Bowman won last year.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic race, and it's obviously completely different from what we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for that one. Became one of my favorites.
Yeah, agreed.
For sure. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and take our break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to discuss most of all of the offseason between hockey and basketball. So thank you all so much for listening up to this point, and we will see you very soon.
Welcome back after that very brief break. We're going to get right into the NHL offseason. And NHL and NBA kind of exploded this offseason to start. So we're starting off with forward Mitch Marner. Arguably the hottest commodity on the trademark or free agency market this year. Or the offseason market, sorry. He was traded to Vegas, of course, in a sign and trade, 8 years for $12 million. Forward Nick Roy, now going back to Toronto, and defenseman Alex Pietrangelo.
Oh, you got it right.
Will miss the entire 25-26 season with a career-threatening injury. Does save Vegas $8.8 million in cap space. They get Mitch Marner, and they're still going to be in the playoffs in contention because Vegas just doesn't die.
Yeah, we talk about it every year. Whenever there's a shiny new object that's available in free agency or via trade, Vegas wants it, and they get it.
They are the Golden Knights after
somehow.
All. Yeah.
Somehow. Mitch Marner, definitely the biggest free agent on the market, had over 100 points last year for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Another disappointing playoff exit leads to Toronto wanting to make some big changes, so they finally split up the core four.
Yep.
$12 million, I think it was a discount. I think if you went to the open market, I think it could have gotten north of 13 and a half. Obviously, with also Nevada being a no-tax state, there's that as well, and we will get to more of that in a minute. Yeah, forward Nick Waugh going back to Toronto. He's a big third-line center who's pretty good, has pretty good production in that role. For Alex Pietrangelo, it is a career-threatening injury labeled as bilateral hip reconstruction.
That means
sounds horrible.
Rebuilding both hips.
Yeah, which, if you know anything about hockey, hips are one of the fundamental parts.
They're pretty important
of the game.
I mean,
not just for the game,
not just hockey,
but
just
for your body,
just life. Walking, sitting, running, jumping. It's all pretty important.
Yeah. So our thoughts go to Alex Pietrangelo as he makes I'm sure it's a really hard decision to step away from the sport that he loves for the entire next season. But quality of life, he's had a long career. He's had a 16-year career. Quality of life is really important, so he can live a good, rest of his life to spend time with his friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows? It's worked before, the hip surgery, with guys like Patrick Kane and someone else that I can't remember. But yeah, we'll see. It's worked before. He may or may not be able to come back. There's never say never, but yeah, this is a huge injury for Pietrangelo.
Yeah.
But again, it does give Vegas the cap relief to make this move, and we could see a potential top line of Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, and Mitch Marner.
Oh yeah,
that is nasty.
Pretty scary out west.
Yeah. So for Vegas, they're after an early playoff exit, they once again make a big move to keep themselves in contention.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. The Florida Panthers, everybody's favorite team around the league. Back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. They've done it. They have done literally the impossible that I didn't even think that they would be able to do. They are able to keep all three pending UFAs, starting off with forward Sam Bennett on an 8-year, $8 million per year contract. Defenseman Aaron Ekblad on an 8-year, $6.1 million per season contract. And the Rat, Brad Marchand, returns to the Panthers on a 6-year, $5.3 million contract.
Mm-hmm.
So starting off with Bennett, reigning Conn Smythe winner, leading goal scorer in the playoffs, $8 million, definitely a discount. With the cap going up, he could have commanded north of $10 million.
Sure.
And with the center market being as thin as it was, and Sam Bennett being a center, and his playoff performance, this is just insane that they were able to get him for $8 million.
Yeah.
Did give him a lot of term, so obviously that will bring the cap hit down, but $8 million is definitely a discount. Another huge discount is Aaron Ekblad. Again, defenseman, very thin on the market, especially right shot defenseman, which Aaron Ekblad is. $6.1 million. That is lower than the $7.5 million cap that he's coming off of on his previous 8-year contract. So to me, that's the biggest discount of the bunch. And I think that's the one that people are probably the most upset about. And Brad Marchand, 6 by $5.3 million per season. A little bit more risky considering he's 37 years of age. So this would take until he's 43 for this contract to expire. But arguably one of the greatest trade deadline pickups we have ever seen. He was fantastic for him in the playoffs, especially on in the Stanley Cup final on the third line.
Yeah.
Well deserved. And the term probably to bring the cap hit down as well. Again, if he went to the open market, he could commanded $8.5 million with how thin everything was. But yeah, all three of these players, listen, we can have the debate about taxes. We can have the debate about, no state income tax, Florida's cheating or whatever. The reality is they've just won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
They want to stay and win another Stanley Cup. Isn't that the goal of playing sports, is to win the championship?
Yeah.
Hey, if they want to take hometown discounts for the team that they played for, that is their decision.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, just genius work by GM Bill Zito to have the entire core side, not just these three players, but guys like Forsling, Barkov, Kachuk, Verhaeghe. They're all signed through 2030 and beyond.
Yeah. Floor's not going anywhere.
Yeah. And with how dominant they were this past playoffs when they won the cup, the 3-peat might be on the way.
It definitely is.
Yeah, just insane. I did not think they would be able to keep all three. I thought at least one would have had to go to market. So just incredible. Obviously being a Lightning fan, this is not good news for us in the playoffs. But hey, kudos to the Panthers. They were a really, really terrible organization for a long, long time.
Yep.
And with the new management, new ownership, they've honestly just really built something special. And I cannot help by congratulating them. I really can't.
Yeah, no, not at all. You gotta appreciate greatness when it's here. We have back-to-back Stanley Cup champions who are not going anywhere anytime soon. and are absolutely going to be the front runners for a three-peat, in my opinion.
Yeah, with these signings, they will have to shed money. So there's a couple players that they're going to potentially move because they are over the cap. You can be 10% over the cap during the offseason, but I'm sure they'll find a way.
Yeah, I'm sure. Moving on to the next point here, the Leafs do extend for John Tavares on a 4-year, $4.38 million contract. That includes deferred money. And they also keep pending RFA forward Matthew Nyes on a 6-year, $7.75 million AAV extension. So the Leafs, even though they got rid of, who was it?
Mitch Marner,
yeah. They do keep Tavares and Nyes here to not completely blow up.
Yeah, very important signings for this team. Tavares coming off of a 7-year, $11 million per season contract. Takes a huge cut in his pay. And again, if he had gone to market, he had 75 points over 30 goals this past season. He could have definitely commanded more money.
Oh, yeah.
But he wanted to stay in Toronto. The deferred money will not be legal once the next CPA takes effect. But because he signed it and the currency based loan effect, it obviously applies. And also Matthew Nyes, probably the top RFA on the market. A lot of talks of him being offer sheeted by various teams, and they get him locked up. And I think it's a great extension at $7.75 million, especially with the cap going up. Mm-hmm. And he's a really good top line, physical, power forward-esque player. And I think the Leafs have done pretty well for themselves in free agency. And obviously the discussion's always going to be, well, they're never going to win the playoffs. They're never going to win a cup. Yeah. And, we'll see. You never know. But now with all the failures the core four has had, they're finally breaking them up, which we've been saying for years that they need to do. Yeah. So I think the Leafs have done well for themselves, and we'll see how the rest of their offseason goes.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, moving on. Moving on here. The Edmonton Oilers, the losers in the 2025 Stanley Cup Final.
Back-to-back losers.
Unfortunately, they do some bookkeeping themselves. They signed top defenseman Evan Bouchard, who was a pending RFA, to a 4-year, $10.5 million contract extension per year. They pretty much had to sign this contract. He's their top defenseman, top offensive producer on the blue line. They could not afford to lose him. Yeah. So good on them for getting him signed. To make the money work, because they were in some cap trouble, they dumped forward Evander Kane, who had a horrible run in the playoffs, and forward Victor Arvidsson to free up cap space. Arvidsson was signed for 1 more year at $4 million per, so that sheds them a good amount of money. And Evander Kane at another year at $5.125 million. So they did free up cap space. This contract, though, that they signed as well, a little bit of a head scratcher for me. Not so much on the amount of money per year, but the term. They signed forward Trent Frederick, who they acquired from Boston last year in the trade deadline, to an 8-year, $3.1 million per season contract extension. Only had 21 points in the regular season, coming off of a rough season, especially in the playoffs, where I think he only had 4 points in all the games he played. He's a big physical forward, really good third liner that's solid defensively, but a lot of the analytics fell off this year. So I'm going to have to see how the first year of the contract plays out, if he bounces back, to really evaluate it. But right now, it doesn't look great.
Yeah.
Also with the Oilers, worth mentioning, the goalie market is now very thin because in free agency, guys like Jake Allen, John Gibson, and Dan Vladar, etc., are now off the table. They have either re-signed with their teams that they played with this year or different teams. So how are the Oilers going to fix their biggest need, which is in the net?
I don't know. Other than just continuing to work with what they have, probably going to have to make some trades, but even then, I don't know.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting, because I think they need to fix the goaltending. Mm-hmm. That has to be the number one. And with the goaltending as a question mark, Connor McDavid in no rush to sign an extension. I don't think a lot of major concern that he's going to leave Edmonton or anything, but I think he has every right to not be in a rush considering the issues that they have.
Yeah, I agree.
They need to fix.
I agree. I would also not be worried though. Pending Sabres restricted free agent forward JJ Peterka was traded with a 5-year, $7.7 million AAV extension in place to the Utah Mammoth.
That's right. And their logo, peak.
Definitely. Literally peak.
Because it has the mountains and it turns into a mammoth head. Looks great. And they kept the same colors from the last jersey.
I agree.
Which is great. And for all of you that don't know, AAV just means average annual value. So that's the cap hit per year.
Yeah, so he was going to the Mammoth, which I'm all for the name and the logo and the colors. For defenseman Michael Kesselring and forward Josh Doan. What does this mean for the Sabres? Getting rid of another young star talent in Peterka. I mean, just...
It's the Sabres. Maybe.
Yeah, just burn it down and keep running the same thing. Or, you know what, just move out of Buffalo.
Yeah, so... a little bit on the trade. JJ Peterka, good top 6 forward, has risen in his point totals the last few seasons. This past year had almost 30 goals and over 60 points. Was probably one of their better forwards on that team for sure. The word was he just didn't want to stay in Buffalo.
We've heard that before.
So, for what they got back, the Sabres, defenseman Michael Kesselring, good second pair. Really physical big boy defenseman. So I think it's a solid piece. He is a right shot defenseman, which they really need. And they also drafted another right shot defenseman in the draft, which we will get to next week. So that's something that they definitely needed. And they get back for Josh Doan, who I think at this point at his best, he can be like a 15 to 20 goal scorer. Initially, the return did not look great at all, but I kind of understood what the Sabres were doing here. They had a player that didn't want to stay, so they obviously had to trade him. And I think they get back 2 really good depth pieces that fill more needs, so to speak.
Yeah.
Now, what does it mean for the organization? Well, another player doesn't want to stay in Buffalo, doesn't want to sign there long term. Where have we heard that before?
Yeah, exactly. So
at this point, with Kevin Adams, their GM, and the Sabres organization, I don't know. I don't know what you do.
I don't know either.
Until they make the playoffs, I have the belief that it's never going to happen.
I agree.
At this point. We'll see what the Sabres do for the rest of free agency. I do plan on making a couple of videos for the NBA and the NHL grading every team's free agency. So I will go more in depth there. But yeah, not a great look for the Sabres, but obviously if the player's not going to resign, you kind of have to trade him.
Yeah.
So they were in a little bit of a tough spot. Moving on, the Vancouver Canucks, the other team from the cursed, supposedly 1970 expansion. Seems like we talk about them every podcast now as well. Yeah. Them and the Sabres. They surprisingly, after not trading him at the trade deadline, and all signs were pointing to him walking in free agency and going to a different team, the last day before, they surprisingly re-signed top winger Brock Besser on a 7-year, $7.25 million contract. And they extended another forward, Connor Garland, on a 6x6, 6 years, $6 million. Starting off with these first 2 contracts, I think they're great value, especially with the cap going up. Besser is a consistent 20-goal scorer, can reach 30 or 40 goals with a good center. So he's a great role piece. Connor Garland is a very hardworking forward. He gives you maximum effort on each shift. He's a fan favorite in Vancouver. So I think these 2 extensions are fantastic. I think Besser could have gotten a lot more on the open market as well, maybe $8.59 million. So I think them keeping him at $7.25 million, I think is great value.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot. This one, though, is a little bit risky, in my opinion. The extension with goalie Thatcher Demko, 3 years, $8.5 million, which that seems to be the going rate for elite starting goaltenders.
Yeah.
At this point. The problem is he was hurt most of the year this year. And the word is his knee injury or whatever problem he's dealing with his knee is there's no like long-term solution. So he kind of just has to play through it. So to me, this is pretty risky, especially because they gave their other goaltender, Kevin Lankinen, I think $4.5 million a year. So they are investing a lot of money into their goaltending tandem.
Yeah.
And I think does carry quite a bit of risk. So I'll have to see how Demko bounces back in the upcoming season to really evaluate this. But if he doesn't, this is going to be another example of a goaltender like Jeremy Swayman wanting the money and not really living up to the contract.
At least in the first year.
Yeah. With Swayman, obviously, there's room for a bounce back. And then with Shesterkin signing his 8-year, $11.5 million contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goalies are getting paid, and it's risky. So we'll see what happens with Demko as well. And as for mentioned with the Oilers, they traded Evander Kane while the Canucks acquired Evander Kane from the Oilers for a 2025 fourth for some reason. And the reason I say this is because you're a GM, you know that a team's in cap trouble. So I would feel like you would want to get the player with a pick because they're trying to dump his salary. But trading Kane for a pick, which it is a 4th round pick, so like might not really be much, but still, it's like I feel like a lot of the teams this offseason have been doing favors for teams that are trying to dump salary. And Evander Kane, he's 33 years of age. He had a horrible playoff run, especially in the Stanley Cup final, in my opinion. And he didn't play at all in the regular season.
Yeah.
So this, to me, is kind of a little bit of a head scratcher. At this point, I think he's a good middle 6 forward, but you have to see how he bounces back as well. And he's a winner, and they still need a center. Like they need help down the middle.
Right.
One of their pending UFAs, Pia Suter, was really good for them. He's still not signed. So questions of if he's going to re-sign or go to market. And they're at this point, they're going to have to go on the trade route to acquire a center.
Yeah, probably.
So to me, it's the Kane pickup is kind of confusing. And with the amount of cap it is at $5.125 million, especially with Vancouver having very little cap space. It's not like they had a bunch of cap space to make this move. They're right up against the cap right now. It's just kind of weird to me. So we'll see how it all works out.
Yeah. Moving on, former Edmonton Oiler, former Lightning,
former Montreal Canadian, former Dallas Star.
Yeah. Bouncing around the league, but only finds success until the very end. Forward Corey Perry signs with the LA Kings. So you know what that means, everybody. It's going to be the Kings and the Panthers in the Stanley Cup final. And Corey Perry will lose once again in the finals. Still losing. That'll be 6 out of 7. And lose again to the Panthers. So, yeah, curse is still going.
Yep. Scary Perry gets a 1-year, $2 million contract. There is bonus money involved. And, he did want to stay with the Oilers. The Oilers obviously didn't want to keep him. So he goes to the Kings. And, the meme lives on. The curse of Corey Perry.
Yeah.
Will he ever get his second Stanley Cup? We shall see. All right. Moving on. This is the offseason continued. Just a little bit of a sum up of free agency. A lot of the stuff we talked about before was before the free agency period opened up. So some top UFAs that re-signed with their teams include defenseman Ivan Provorov from the Columbus Blue Jackets, forward Patrick Kane, Showtime, returning to Detroit, forward Claude Giroux returning to Ottawa on a 1-year deal, and defenseman Alexander Romanov returning to the Islanders on a very pricey 8-year contract.
Top unrestricted free agents. Sorry, couldn't get that out. That signed with other teams include defenseman Vladislav Gavrikov from the Rangers, forward Connor Brown from the Devils, forward Jonathan Drouin from the Islanders, and defenseman Ryan Lindgren from Seattle. Only this year, only shy north of $250 million in free agency signings so far, compared to the 1.2 billion last year.
Yeah. Man, you're doing great with names today. I never do that good.
Thank you.
Yeah, as you said, not a lot of money spent. This just shows how thin the free agency class was.
Yeah.
Especially with a lot of players re-signing for the free agency period opened up. And we'll get to our teams in a little bit here. But yeah, I think a lot of the teams that decided, you know what, we're good, I think they might have won. Sometimes the best thing to do in free agency is nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, moving on to our teams, because there are teams. First, the Tampa Bay Lightning was announced. They're not bringing back forward Cam Atkinson or defenseman Nick Perbix. Nick Perbix ended up signing in Nashville. They waive veteran forward Connor Sheary for a buyout. He originally was signed on a 3-year, $2 million deal. Was ass for us this season. Spent most of the season in the minors. Sorry, Connor Sheary. So they waive him for a buyout, saves them a little bit of cap space. They do re-sign forward Gage Gonsalves on a 2-year, $1.2 million contract, which I'm very happy about. The points don't scream a lot at you, but he did get better as the season went along.
Okay.
And in the playoffs, he was actually tied for the lead with Nikita Kucherov in 5 games.
Oh, okay.
So I'm really happy we're bringing him back. And any other signings for us were just cheap depth pieces because we have very low cap space. So
yeah.
So just, bottom 6 forwards, bottom defensemen. So yeah.
Okay. The Bruins, we extended Morgan Geekie for 6 years, $5.5 million AAV extension. Yeah, I agree. Good signing. Also re-signed forward. This one I have no clue.
His first name is Matt.
Re-signing forward Matt and Beecher as well, and as also defenseman Lorai and Joe Krahu. Sure.
So I'll repeat it. Also re-signed forward back Kuznetsov and Jonathan Beecher.
Yeah, Matt.
As well as defenseman Mason Lorai and Henry Yokiharu. Probably would have helped to put the first names.
Maybe. We bring in mostly depth with the goal of getting bigger and more physical per Sweeney. We traded 2027 5th-round pick for forward Victor Arvidsson. Signed Tanner Janot to a 5-year, $3.4 million AAV contract. For what? Only 13 points in 67 games. And finally, we're not making the playoffs for 2 straight years. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I should be cheering too. I'm a Lightning fan.
Yes.
Yeah. As we mentioned a few episodes ago, the Bruins, after Sweeney traded Marchand, I thought that was it. Okay. Sweeney's out. He's done.
Nope. Extended.
Nope. They extended him 2 years. So now he gets to retool the Bruins or get him back in the playoffs somehow. And basically everything's just to save his job at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, but the extension for Morgan Geekie, I'll give credit with credit's due. That's a really good extension.
It is.
Had 30 goals this past season, was their second most productive forward behind David Pastrnak. And I got my new Pastrnak jersey sitting in the closet. So interestingly enough, all the jerseys that I don't have that aren't Lightning are teams that I hate. The Bruins and the Hurricanes. So I find that kind of weird.
It's a little sus.
But yeah, Geekie, I don't expect him to score 30 goals every single season. I think he comes a little bit back down in his point totals, but still a good signing at $5.5 million per season, especially with the cap going up. Depth pieces, clean up, bring back defensemen, Lorai, Yoki Haru, Kuzadiov, and Beecher. A lot of centers that were brought in, which obviously the Bruins really need the most. The 2027 fifth for Victor Arvidsson, they take on his cap hit at $4 million. That's not a big deal. They had a lot of cap space, so I think that's fine. We'll see if Arvidsson bounce back. The Tanner Jeannot signing, though, this might be the worst signing I've seen in free agency. Now, with cap going up, yes, the $3.4 million is not going to look
it's not that big, yeah.
But whoever Jeannot's agent is, he needs a raise.
I agree.
And I don't know what the GMs keep seeing in this guy. After his rookie year, where he had really good totals, the Lightning traded basically an entire draft for this guy. Did not do anything for us. He's just a fourth liner, energy forward that can fight, plays physical. Then for however the fuck, the Keens decided to acquire him from us for a 2025 second round pick, which, okay. Didn't do anything for them. And then he hits free agency where he inks a 5-year deal at $3.4 million with only 13 points in 67 games. Fourth line minutes.
Makes sense to me.
That's insane. Right there, Sweeney should be fired for that. Yeah, that's another head scratcher that I just don't know what they were thinking there, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, congratulations to his agent because he is doing something right. He is really selling. So yeah, that is some, obviously, the offseason, the free agency, trades, all of that. Again, I'll be doing a video where I go more in depth in each team. But the question for our teams is, what are the holes still remaining after the initial free agency period?
For the Bruins, I just don't think we got the help that Pasta needs on the offensive side. I was joking, but I still seriously don't see us making the playoffs again. Swayman needs to have a bounce back year, but we just don't have the offense for to help Pasternak, who can't be on the ice all game long, obviously with shifts and everything. So
the fact that he still had over 100 points on that team it's pretty remarkable.
Oh yeah.
He is the engine, especially with them getting rid of Brad Marchand and selling off, guys like Charlie Coyle and Brandon Carlo.
For certain.
That's one thing that Sweeney did right. He decided to pull the plug and recuperate some assets. But unless you're expecting guys like Fraser Midden and Casey Middlestat for your centers to produce points, which I don't think is going to happen. Yeah, this team's kind of just stuck in mid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to say.
Pretty
now,
much.
we are going to talk about the draft next week, obviously, but they did get, I think, a steal in the first round by selecting center James Higgins.
Yeah.
Right down the road from Boston University. I think he'll need maybe a year or two in college. I think he's returning to college for next season. But he was right off practicing in their development camp. Development camps are going on for each team right now. Projects as being a really, really good first-line center. Elite first-line center with great playmaking ability, which is exactly what the Boston Bruins need.
Yeah, so don't worry, Bruins fans, if you're out there listening. We're only a couple years away.
Now, with the Bruins' track record in the first round and prospects, don't ruin him.
Yep.
Please. But yeah, it's going to be, I think, a couple, 2 or 3 years before the Bruins are anywhere near contention. Much less than making the playoffs. Yeah. So, all right, moving on to the Lightning and their biggest needs after the initial free agency period. We need speed. I haven't read on all of our depth signings.
Oh my God. Speaking of speed, sorry to interrupt. Did you see the rookie McQueen? He picked number 95.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
After he went to Disneyland?
Yeah.
Oh, and another thing with that. Number 10 pick, the Ducks, goes to Disneyland, takes his family to the resort. Number 9 pick, Radim Murka, looks absolutely fucking miserable. He's selected by the Sabres.
Yep. That's right.
Now, it could be because Seattle did pass up on him and he did play for the Seattle Thunderbirds of the WHL.
Yeah.
So he could have been a little disappointed.
Could have been.
But man, he did not look happy.
Not look happy at all.
But yeah, McQueen 95, perfect. Now we just need the Lightning to trade for him. And it will be perfectly balanced. Please make it happen. It's not going to happen.
No.
Anyway,
Back
to the Lightning. We need speed. Like I said, I haven't read on all of our depth pieces that we've signed, but we need speed in the bottom six. We're a very old team, so we need to get younger. Our top 9, I think, is set. We got, Hagel, we got Kucherov, Point, Cirelli, Gonsalves. I think we're fine there. The defense core, we definitely need another second pair offensive defenseman. I think. A guy like Rasmus Andersson comes to mind, who's got 1 year left for Calgary at like $4.5 million. I know Calgary is asking for a lot, but if we could somehow get Rasmus Andersson, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
If we could get him, I think our D-core would be completely set and have some good D. We did re-sign Jonas Johansson, our backup goaltender. I would prefer to have an upgrade. No offense to Johansson, but Vasilevsky can't be playing 65 games every season.
Yeah.
He's going to get burned out in the playoffs. You need a goaltender. At this point, really throughout the NHL, you need a goaltender, a backup that can play 20, 25 games to really take the workload off.
Yeah.
So I would like an upgrade there, but because we re-signed him, I don't see that happening. And we don't have a lot of cap space. So we need to...
Or draft picks.
Yeah. So we need to somehow make the money work. I doubt we get Anderson because we don't have a first round pick until I think 2029 at this point. So yeah, I think this upcoming year we are going to make the playoffs. We still have a really good team. We just have to get past Florida.
Yeah.
It's a tall ask. And the Atlantic is still going to be, I think, the best division in hockey.
Yeah.
But we will have our shot this year. I think if it doesn't work out this year, if it's another first round exit, I think it's time to just pull the plug. We don't want to become the Pittsburgh Penguins.
True. Very true.
So just pull it there, start the rebuild, and recuperate assets. Depending on where we are at the trade deadline, maybe there's a possibility that we trade Kucherov. Maybe, because he is in the final year of his deal. And we'll see how much he could get for his next deal.
Yeah,
especially being a back-to-back Hart finalist and Art Ross winner.
Yep.
So he's going to be pricey. All right. Moving on to our final section here, the NBA. First, we're going to start with trades.
That's right. So first off here on our trade block, the Nuggets are shedding some salary by trading Michael Porter Jr. and an unprotected 2032. That just feels so weird to say. 2032. Oh my God. We're getting old. The unprotected 2032 first round pick to the Nets for Cam Johnson. Basically just same level of production for half the price.
Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. was going to be owed about $40 million the next 2 years. Johnson, same level of production, half the price. Yeah, just like you said. All right, another trade that took place. This one, a big head scratcher. The Utah Jazz trade one of their best scorers in guard Colin Sexton and a 2032 to the Charlotte Hornets for little return, only in center Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah, it's definitely questionable. Not.
And I know they drafted Ace Bailey, but you're going into a rebuild. So would you want to keep these young players?
Yeah.
Right. So
you'd think.
Kind of weird.
Yeah. The Bulls are trading Lonzo Ball to the Cavs in a 1-for-1 swap for Isaac Okoro. Ball only played 35 games this past season after being sidelined the prior two because Ball's injury prone.
Yeah. With the Cavs losing a couple depth pieces, this could potentially be a good pickup if Lonzo Ball bounces back.
Yeah.
And stays healthy. So we'll see how that works for the Cavs, but I think it's a good trade. Moving on, the big one that we have. The Boston Celtics shed another one of their core pieces by trading.
Another one.
Yep, and we might not be done. They traded center Kristaps Porzingis and a second-round pick to the Atlanta Hawks in a 3-team deal. Celtics received Yorgis Niang, and a second-round pick, and then the Nets received Terrence Mann and 22nd overall in the 2025 draft. And they're still reportedly taking calls on Jaylen Brown and Derek White.
Yep. Might not be over. So far for the Celtics offseason, they have lost center Luke Cornett, add center Luka Garza, and forward Josh Minot, who are both former Wolves, along with losing Porzingis and Drew Holiday.
Yeah, the guys that they added, they're not going to be huge difference makers.
No.
So really, this whole offseason for the Celtics has just been getting under that apron.
Yeah.
And with Jason Tatum probably missing all of next season, we'll see how the Celtics do.
Yeah.
So it could just be just a nothing year. All right. Moving on to the offseason, the re-signings in the free agency period. First up, we got the Rockets because people are saying that they've had the best free agency so far. First off, they declined the $44.9 million team option for point guard Fred VanVleet and signed him to a new 2-year, $50 million deal, so he gets paid there. They also re-signed core piece power forward Jabari Smith Jr. to a 5-year, $122 million contract. Yeah. And add power forward Dorian Finney-Smith, and they bring back center Clint Capella, who was originally with the team in the beginning of his career. Great depth signings by the Rockets to add front court presence and perimeter defense.
Yeah, they're making all the right moves to not finish fourth in the West, but make the finals for next season.
Yeah, with adding Kevin Durant.
Oh, yeah.
And that veteran presence, look out for Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Next season.
Yeah.
I think they've jumped really high into the favorites.
Probably.
To win the cup.
Oh, yeah.
Or the trophy.
Right behind OKC, for sure. James Harden declines his player option and intends to sign a 2-year, $81.5 million contract to return to the Clippers.
Which was confirmed.
And the Clippers also add center Brook Lopez from the Bucks, 2 years, $18 million for Lopez. Does this do anything for the Clippers, though? Do they make the playoffs or go far in the playoffs? It's the Clippers, so probably not.
That's right. Nothing much else to say there. Moving on, power forward Julius Randle. Wolves signing 2 of their core pieces to really rich deals. They signed Julius Randle to a 3-year, $100 million extension, as well as center Naz Reid to a 5-year, $125 million deal. So they get some bookkeeping done, as they also are a team out in the West that looks to win a championship.
Better get it done now, because Anthony Edwards' contract is coming up in the next couple years.
Oh, yeah.
The Thunder are extending to, no surprise, SGA.
MVP, reigning conference finals MVP, reigning NBA finals MVP, reigning scoring champion, and reigning NBA champion.
Yeah, SGA. To a 4-year, $285 million Supermax deal, as well as guard AJ Mitchell and center Jalen Williams, as OKC aims to keep their team together, which so far they're pretty successful at doing. And I could see them going back to back.
Yep, that is the goal. Moving on, the loser in the NBA Finals, the Indiana Pacers suffered a huge loss on their core. They lose center Miles Turner to the Bucks on a 4-year, $107 million contract. as their future window remains pretty uncertain now, especially with obviously Tyrese Halliburton potentially missing all of next season.
Yeah, might also be a do nothing season for the Pacers here as well. Speaking of the Bucks, though, they waived Damian Lillard as he nurses a torn Achilles in order to shed some salary and sign Miles Turner. The team will stretch the remaining $113 million on his contract. But what does this mean for Giannis and the future of him staying in Milwaukee? I don't know. I read something earlier just today that Giannis was not happy about Milwaukee waiving Damian Lillard.
Yeah, I mean, I know Damian Lillard has had injury trouble over the last couple seasons. They did have an upgrade at center, in my opinion, with Miles Turner, besides Brook Lopez. But yeah, I mean, Lillard and Giannis were the duo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if this encourages Giannis to find a new destination for his talents, maybe Miami. But yeah, I mean, I would understand him not being happy, but maybe because he just can't stay on the court, this could be a good move for the Bucks.
Maybe.
Unfortunately, sometimes it's just how it works out in sports.
Yeah,
it is a business after all.
Exactly.
All right, moving on. Kyrie Irving declined his player option and will be signing, which he did, a new 3-year contract with the Mavs worth $119 million. They also signed free agent point guard D'Angelo Russell to a 2-year, $13 million contract. Another team that's looking to get over the hump in the playoffs. After a big shift in trading Luka Doncic and acquiring the first overall pick convincingly, and now they draft Cooper Flag. Yeah.
It's great. Moving on, the Grizzlies, they extend core big man Jaren Jackson Jr. to a 5-year, $240 million deal there. So congrats to Jackson Jr. and the Grizzlies.
Yep. Moving on to the Miami Heat, and a lot of these teams that are signing these players, they're just looking to get over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
So the Miami Heat, moving on here, signed Davion Mitchell, who we acquired in the Jimmy Butler trade, on a 2-year, $24 million deal. They're also interested in Warriors restricted free agent Jonathan Kuminga, which could be a very interesting piece. And breaking news, because I didn't have it written down before we started, Detroit is trading Simone Fontecchio to Miami to acquire Duncan Robinson in a sign-and trade. And the deal is Duncan Robinson has agreed to a 3-year, $48 million deal with the Detroit Pistons. So fan favorite Duncan Robinson is unfortunately no longer a member of the Miami Heat.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So the top UFAs and RFAs remaining include guard Jonathan Kuminga from the Warriors, guard Josh Giddey from Chicago, center DeAndre Ayton from Portland, and center Al Horford from Boston, who I thought would be retiring, but hey, he's still going.
Not yet.
Not yet. True. Very early in the offseason so far. Overall, pretty similar to the NHL. It's a thin class and a pretty quiet signing period. July 6th, though, is the end date.
That's right. So, again, the question is, with all the signings and trades happening. Oh, by the way, breaking news, because I have it again on my phone. This is for hockey. Rangers pending restricted free agent defenseman Keandre Miller goes to Carolina in a trade with an 8-year, $60 million extension in place. Damn. Goddamn. In return, the Rangers get defensive prospect Scott Morrow, a 2026 first-round pick, which is top 10 protected, and a 2026 second-round pick. Damn. I really, really like this deal for both teams, actually, especially for Carolina, who have a couple pending defensemen who are unrestricted free agents and who are definitely a little bit on the older side. This definitely fills a hole in their top 4 defense. So,
yeah, very good
trade. And then the Rangers, they get a good prospect and they recuperate a couple assets. So that's a good trade, I think, for both teams. But back to the last question of the podcast. Oh, Everyone say, "Oh, the podcast's almost over."
Oh.
Same question for hockey. The biggest needs for our teams remaining during the rest of the offseason. Starting with the Celtics.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't think Tatum's going to miss all of the entire next season. I could see him coming back halfway through or 3/4 of the way through, depending on how his rehab process goes. Just today, he was working out in the gym. He was getting back into the gym, so he seems to be doing just fine. But with that being said, it's still a very long recovery process. So what I want to see, do not get rid of Jaylen Brown.
I totally agree.
Do not get rid of Derek White. We've already done enough damage getting rid of Drew Holiday and Porzingis and Al Horford.
I will agree, though, out of the players that they could have traded, I think those two made the most sense.
Yeah, I agree. But been saying it for 2 weeks now, maybe 3. Do not break up the two Jays. Don't do it. If that happens, I will probably lose all faith in the Celtics. Not that I really have any for this upcoming season, but for the foreseeable future. If we keep Brown and he does not live up to his contract this upcoming season, then okay. But right now, do not get rid of him. That's what I want to see from the offseason. Do not get rid of Jaylen Brown or Derek White. Because with them, we're still going to have a shot to probably squeak into the playoffs. And if Tatum comes back healthy and ready to go, might make a surprising run.
Yeah, I think that sums that up pretty well. For the Heat, we bring back a couple guys, lose a couple guys. I don't think they're like huge difference makers. Important, sure. But we still need the guy. We still need the engine of the offense. I think we're still missing the guy that makes the offense go.
Mm-hmm.
So because we were running for Kevin Durant, we were one of the final teams that were in on him. Whether it's that with Giannis or the guy that we acquired in the draft, which could be a steal, but obviously might not be ready for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And Kasparis Yakusionis. If we're really serious about getting back to the playoffs and contending, and I know we were in the playoffs, but play-in tournament doesn't count. First round doesn't count either because we got absolutely destroyed.
Very true.
So if we're serious about contending, we have to get the guy.
Yeah,
we have to get our Jimmy
I
Butler,
agree.
our Giannis Antetokounmpo. No. Okay.
I agree.
Yeah. So if we don't acquire that guy, if we're not successful, I think we're just going to kind of be stuck in the middle at this point. So, I don't ever count the Heat out. They're obviously with Pat Riley and their coach. They play hard every night and they never give up. So I'm not going to count them out. But yeah, the loss of Jimmy Butler definitely left a huge hole, and we have yet to fill it.
Yeah, very true. All right, everybody. Well, that will do it for this week's episode. It was a good one, a long one, a lot that we had to talk about because even though it's the off season, there's still a lot of shit happening. So thank you for listening all the way up to this point. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Any color. Doesn't matter the color of the subscribe button. Just hit it. Okay? Hit it, punch it, tap it, whatever you want to do. Just bop it, But if you're not on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, iHeartRadio, wherever else we post. Not that website, Jairus.
No,
not that one.
Not that one. Yes.
Wherever else we post. Thank you. We love you too, but just come to YouTube, please. That's our main hub. Day early access. All our videos are there.
That's right.
Come on, just go to YouTube.
Again, make sure to check out our mock drafts. We will be going over the drafts next week.
Speaking of next week, we will be talking about Ironheart. It's out. Reviews are not good, but we like Marvel, or we love Marvel and love talking about it. So we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. So look forward to that. All the diehard Marvel fans out there. And again, go check out our videos on the drafts so you can get up to speed with that. And we got more videos coming out. So make sure, obviously, to subscribe. Make sure to follow our socials for updates, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even though we don't post on TikTok, but you can follow it. It'll be linked in the description. And again, thank you guys so much for listening to the entire thing. We really do appreciate it. We know it was a little bit of a long one, but we got through it. And yeah, we will see you in the next one.